Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode numero 26 of the NordCast. It is Thursday, May 18th, 2022. I'm your host, Nordic97 here, who, even though it is closer to the summer and things are looking up, I have a sore throat, just the worst possible time to get it during the playoffs. I'm also joined here with Carter. How we doing today, Carter?
We're buzzing. We're buzzing, to say the least.
We're buzzing. I'm here with Jack as well. Jack, how we doing?
We're buzzing too.
Oh, it's just a buzzing episode today. We're going to start off with the news that everybody's seen, the big headlines. The Arizona Coyotes, of course, they had their arena proposal to Tempe, and they've had that for about a year now. It took them about a year between, announcing the plan to the public and the voting, and the people voted no. That's the biggest news. And now there's not a lot of good news for Arizona because, look, I would honestly say there's probably, as a Coyotes fan, there is probably a 60-65% chance they relocate. That might not sound like huge odds, but I really do think that as the next couple of weeks progress and as we make more episodes, it's gonna probably go up higher and higher. And we're going to have updates pretty much every single week because the NHL is not going to wait like months or years like they did with this Tempe stuff. No, they're gonna figure out what they want to do probably by, I'd say, the middle of June, maybe even before that. I would expect a plan. Now, do I think relocation's possible? Yes, I would like to say that they stay, but I think relocation is definitely a possibility. But they are looking at other options in Arizona, so they're not done yet. And honestly, even though I just said they're probably going to figure this out in the next couple of weeks, it's likely going to be dragged on longer than that, I feel like, mainly because of just Arizona's just going to try and go to as many places as they possibly can, try and find an arena. But eventually, Arizona's not that big of a state. It is a decently big state, but it's not that big of a state. And if you're getting rejected from Tempe, Phoenix, Glendale, it's just not going to work out eventually. So I'd say their best options right now as a Coyotes fan, it's probably Scottsdale, it's probably Mesa. There's a few other ones that have popped up, like there's Indian reservations. There's plenty of desert out there, so it's not like they can't find a place to build it. But it really isn't looking too good right now. And there's been some rising relocation cities that are interested in bringing the Coyotes there. So I'll ask you guys this question, whichever one of you wants to answer first. Do you guys think Arizona's going to move?
Yes, I do think they're going to be moved. And for now, my prediction is Salt Lake City. Just because the Utah Jazz owner, I don't know if you guys saw that, but apparently they have something in the works or something like that already. I saw that on Twitter. So, my prediction is Salt Lake City for now. And honestly, I think that'd be a win. Obviously not for Coyotes fans. I know they want to stay in Arizona, but I think Salt Lake City would make a great hockey market, and it's a highly populated city. They already have a huge arena there. I say why not?
Carter?
Yeah, I think honestly, as much as I'd want this Arizona thing to work out, I don't know if it actually will. So I think they're probably going to relocate. My guess, I think Jack said it was Salt Lake City. That I think is my number one. But I think a number two, Patrick Mahomes tweeted about it. He wants them in Kansas City. So I think that maybe they could get him to Kansas City. But here's the thing: is it going to be the same as they thought with Arizona, where Arizona, huge football market, but the hockey market just wasn't there? Could we have the same thing in Kansas City? Huge football market, but is there a big enough hockey market? So that's gonna be the issue there.
Well, they actually previously, I don't know if you guys heard that, but someone's audio just glitched. They previously actually had a hockey team way back in the day, like in the 70s, probably before our parents were even born. They had a hockey team, the Kansas City Scouts. But then that team relocated to the New Jersey Devils. So I would have to see what the attendance ratings were back in the 70s. I think now, though, they probably would generate some hockey interest. They played preseason games there. I think it would definitely get a lot of interest. But I'm going to have to agree with Jack here. I am going to go with Salt Lake City, even though I looked up their population and it's actually not as much as some of the other hockey cities. If they were to go to Salt Lake City, it would actually be the smallest hockey market in America, or like the smallest city population in America, which is actually kind of surprising. But I do think Salt Lake City is probably a legitimate option. I've been seeing Houston, and that's been a thing that I've been seeing for like years. This isn't just like a thing that's popping up now. We've seen this since like probably 2015. It's been a thing for probably 8 years now. And especially when Vegas and Seattle were like coming into the NHL, Houston was always in the background, always trying to buy in. But of course, they lost to both Vegas and Seattle in those expansion fees. So I think that's pretty realistic to say Salt Lake City. That's the only one I can really see. But look, I got to be honest. I don't think they move. I can't see them moving. Now, is the NHL open to relocation? Yeah, they are. But I don't think that they're going to move. Especially, and they can't move if Alex Morello doesn't sell. If Morello doesn't sell, they can't move. They can't. They just simply can't, because that's how it works. Unless if there's something that I don't know about where Salt Lake City or whatever city gets them can buy the team or can just buy the team off of Morello, which I guess could happen. But Morello is determined to keep him in Arizona, and I'm actually happy about it. But this is probably going to affect a lot of people's thoughts on Arizona, especially the players. Clayton Keller, I don't know if you guys saw this. You guys probably did. But his father tweeted out saying that Keller will not play next season. Now, I've seen both sides to this argument saying that, Keller it's his father. What does that mean? But it's his father. I would say that his father's a pretty good source to say that, if Keller's not playing, then he's probably not playing. But his agents also came out about saying something, but I didn't look too into that. But yeah, I'm a little bit intrigued about that, and I'm wondering too, like, is this going to affect the prospects we just drafted? Like, is Dylan Gunther going to be like, Arizona? Is Logan Cooley going to be like, let me sign in this city with so much uncertainty? And are players going to want to come to Arizona in this year's offseason, or are they going to want to re-sign if they don't even know if the team's going to stay there for more than a year? So that's kind of what I'm wondering. I did want to bring this question in because there have been talks about this, and there has been a lot of talks about this in the past couple of weeks. I'm not sure if we brought it up on the podcast. We might have. But Atlanta is looking at getting a third shot at an NHL team. So I have this question for you guys. If they were to either, like, let's say they relocate the Coyotes to Atlanta, or if they expand to Atlanta, would it work out? Do you guys think that it would actually work out if they got like an arena as well?
Yeah, I think it could work out. I know the Atlanta Hawks, the NBA team, they have a pretty big arena over there. I don't know if they'd be open to sharing that with a hockey team. I'm sure they would, because that's like every owner's dream to, have two teams in the same stadium. But it's worked out in the past. Well, I mean, it hasn't really like worked out because of other relocation issues, but I'd like to see it happen again. I think Atlanta, obviously, highly populated city, and I think it would work out.
Carter?
Yeah, like, I think that Atlanta would probably be like a half decent spot for them. Yeah, but they've had a couple shots at it, so I don't know, to be honest, whether if like giving them another shot could benefit the NHL or not. So I think it's just going to come down to, honestly, I don't even know. I think Atlanta could be a good hockey market, but the last time we tried them was, 13, 12 years ago? It would have been the Winnipeg Jets moving, so...
You should be thanking Atlanta, because they brought
you
back.
I'm grateful that they have a crap franchise and they had to come to Winnipeg, but who knows? Winnipeg might lose their team too, so...
I think we actually have a greater chance of seeing Quebec come back before we see Winnipeg relocate. I gotta be entirely honest with you. I might regret that in a few years saying that, and somebody's gonna find this in like 2030 and be like, the Jets moved to Houston. But as of now, I don't think so.
Don't say that.
Here's the thing with me, and it looks like they were actually looking to build a new arena in Atlanta. There was that talk of building a new sports complex. Whether they go to, as Jack said, the NBA team's arena or not. I think that giving them a third shot now, is it deserve? Probably not. Do I think it would work out? Yes. I think it really would work out. Attendance ratings when the team was good were actually really solid, and they had only 1 year of being pretty good, and then they got swept in that year in the playoffs. I think if you give them good management, good ownership, you give them a solid roster out of the gate, I think they very well could, attract some attention. And they are one of the more populated cities out there that is looking for an NHL team. I believe, apart from Houston, it is the largest market that is looking for an NHL team. I might be wrong, but I don't think they would go back to Atlanta, mainly because of the 2 previous tries that have failed. If like Atlanta ask for the right amount of money, and if the ownership is solid and capable, then yeah, they probably would. But honestly, I think there's a few other cities that they would probably pick over Atlanta. Quebec. What do we think about Quebec? Do you think they would go back to Quebec? I actually don't think so. You don't think so?
No.
Everybody's shaking their head. As much as it hurts, and the reason why this stuff even exists is because of Quebec. Nordic, Nordiques. It's my whole brand is based off of that. But I don't think they go back to Quebec. I can't see them looking at Quebec and saying, yeah, that's a good enough place. Mainly because of it being in that pretty much sector of cities and teams that are already in that area. Like there's the Flyers, the Penguins, the Bruins. Like all the Atlantic and Metro teams are pretty much all in that area. That's pretty much an entire conference worth of teams just in that little quadrant. So I don't think they would go back unless if they expanded to like 40 teams. But I don't think the NHL's at that level where they could expand to 40 teams. How about Halifax? I've seen Halifax pop up.
I don't think so. I don't think they have a big enough stadium. I know they have the World Juniors there, but that wouldn't hold an NHL team in that stadium.
It's also still in that quadrant of people, and as well as that too.
Yeah.
Is it in the? I don't think it's in the same time zone as the other Eastern cities. Carter, you might know that. Do you know if it's in the same time zone?
I'm not gonna lie, I actually have like zero clue.
Oh, okay.
I'll look. Let me get on that. I'm trying to figure out what they're like, because their arena I think is called the Scotiabank Center. Like I think that's their big one where the Mooseheads play.
They are not in the same time zone as the East. They are in Atlantic Daylight Time. So
Yeah.
they're an hour ahead of all the Eastern teams. So that is why I don't think that would work. And then this has been popping up, and I think it's weird. How about San Antonio? San Antonio, also in Texas. Would you rather Houston or would you rather San Antonio?
I think Houston.
I mean, Houston is. Look, I gotta be honest. It's not that nice of a city, from what I've seen. A lot of drugs, a lot of trash, a lot of other bad things go on there. But
So's Winnipeg.
What?
So's Winnipeg.
Oh, I think Houston's worse though. It's hotter. It's hotter down there. That's what makes it worse. But I don't know. I've seen like Mexico too, El Paso. Like
No.
I can't. Albuquerque, Santa Fe. I'm like, no.
Come on. Guys.
Saskatchewan, Saskatoon. I actually think that could work out. I don't think that's that bad of a one. But Carter, are you raising your hand?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I was just going to say, and at the Halifax, I know we're probably moved past that, but at the Halifax Scotiabank Center, it holds 10,500. And that'd be for like their Mooseheads team.
That's like a minor league.
Yeah.
Arena
So
capacity.
they don't really have like a stadium ready for that, and especially having like two stadiums that one holds a lot and one holds like just a little bit less, I feel like it'd just be a waste for the city of Halifax, because the Mooseheads already do like a good enough job there. So
would they get NHL attention? Yeah, they would definitely attract a fan base. I just think that because of the stadium and the time zone, I just don't think it worked out.
no,
Yeah.
definitely none of like those maritime places in Canada will probably ever get a team.
Honestly, same with like Eastern time zones too. Like I don't think they add another team to the East because you would have to move a team to the Central, like Detroit, for example. The main reason, and people don't understand this too, they say so easily, oh, move the team to Atlanta, move the team to Quebec. They can't just do that because you have to move teams around, and with 32 teams in the NHL, 8 teams in each division, you move a team to a different, not just division, but to a different conference, it screws up everything. Especially when you're like Detroit. And I actually thought that, like, oh, why not move Detroit to the Central for a while? But then I figured out that, like, they would be playing in a different time zone than all of the Central and Pacific teams. So it would just be hell for the players. So that's why I don't think that would work out. Not at all. What else? There was another one that I was thinking about. Back to Saskatchewan. I think that one could work out. Saskatoon, I think, could, but, like, honestly, I don't think the NHL would go there unless they had to. That is, like, the only province besides, like, the smaller ones, like Halifax is not a province, but
Nova Scotia.
Nova Scotia, like those kind of, like, those provinces.
Honestly, Regina or Saskatoon could actually end up working, mainly because, like, I know that, like, the Saskatoon Blades, they bring in a lot, and then in Regina, you guys probably have no clue on what the CFL is, but that's basically
Canadian Football League.
Okay, wow, you actually do know. Jesus.
Of course,
So
Jack does. I actually, only because
the Saskatchewan Roughriders, they have, like, a massive fan base that stretches, like, all across Canada. They're pretty much like the Toronto Maple Leafs of that league. So I think that, honestly, bringing a team to Regina could work as well, if they wanted to bring in another Canadian team.
Yeah, that's one that I could see working out, or some team in Saskatchewan. As I said, because that's the only province besides, like, the ones in Maritime that does not have an NHL team. Alaska, I've seen that as well. How would that work?
There's no way.
Sacramento, San Francisco, I've seen that too. Sacramento, I've actually seen pop up a lot. But, like, adding a fourth team to California, like, wouldn't you might as well just make that their own division. Like, make that the California division at that point, because you have half a division in California. It just wouldn't make sense to me. And then, like, I've seen like Europe.
Whoa.
Like, what? I've seen a few people say move the team to Europe and start a European division. I'm like, how would that work?
That would not work out at all. Like, that was like the NFL saying they should bring a team to, like, Germany or the UK. Like, that's just a pain in the ass.
Here's the thing with me. I think it could work out if you had, like, a whole conference in Europe, and that whole conference did not play against USA teams. Like, maybe only once a year. And then when it came to finals, the winner of the European League would play the winner of the North American League, and they would clash together. That's a whole other idea for another time. But if they were to make a conference, or, like, a whole entire, like, 32 team worth of European hockey teams, and then have the 32 team NHL, and then they play against each other in the finals, I think that actually would do pretty well, especially if those conferences didn't interfere with each other, and that would mean that you would have hockey pretty much all the time around. Carter, you're raising your hand.
Kind of like how, like with soccer too. Like, honestly, I think soccer, like, we'll go into this, like, months in advance or whatever in a while, but I think soccer does a really good job of, like, incorporating, like, the teams and stuff like that. So, like, imagine if we had, like, a European division, like, there was, like, Spanish, there was, like, all these other nations, and then, you know, like the Champions League in soccer, where they take, like, the best teams from every division and throw them in a tournament. Yep. Imagine if hockey did that. Like, that'd be unreal. I know it'd probably never work because there's not a lot of, like, places that are as good at hockey.
I don't know if there's, like, enough players too.
Yeah, exactly.
But I honestly do think, though, that, like, if you added, like, a European side, like, maybe not, like, connected to the NHL, but had a major European league that, like, linked with the NHL. I don't know if you guys are history buffs like me, but, like, way back when the NHL was first starting out, like, they had a whole other league that they would play against for the Stanley Cup. Like, the winner of one league, I forget what it was called. It was
the WHA?
Or, no, it wasn't WHA. Because they were separate from the NHL. It was, like, back in, like, the 1920s. I'm trying to think. It was like the Pacific Coast Hockey Association or something like that. Way back in, like, the 20s. Like, the winner of that league and then the winner of the NHL, which had, like, 4 teams at that time, would play against each other in the for the Stanley Cup. You look way back in the Cup's history, you'll see that. But, like, I think if they did it that way and you had the European games playing, like, at night or, like, at night in Europe and, like, during, like, I don't know, like, I don't know how you work it out. It's a whole different time zone thing, but I think, honestly, it would grow the game in Europe for sure, but that's a whole other. We're going way off course. But yeah, any last we're talking about Europe. Any last thoughts on Arizona? I think I put down all the cities that they could go to. I feel like I'm missing one more that people were talking about. We got Kansas City, we got Houston, San Antonio. Yeah, I think I got everything.
Yeah.
We got anything else? That's it for Arizona.
Yeah.
All right, second round. So we'll go over the second round pretty quickly. I just want to skid over this one because we actually talked about this one when it ended, because it ended the same night we recorded the episode. Carolina versus the Devils. That series obviously ended in 4-1 for Carolina in 5 games. We went in depth with that last episode, so we're not going to talk about that. Florida and Toronto, though, we will talk about, and that is a plenty good discussion. The Panthers beat the Maple Leafs in 5 games, 4-1. So I think me and Carter had the Panthers winning it. I think Jack.
You did not.
I didn't.
No, I was the
I
only
think we
one.
both said Leafs in 7.
Did I say Leafs in 7?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah. Go Panthers.
What drugs was I on? I know Jack said it, but
Yeah.
what?
I was
him.
sticking with my pick. Like, I was super confident in that, and then boom,
Yeah,
game 5.
They won game 4, and Jack was like, "Oh, Leafs in 7."
Dude, I know. They had all the momentum.
I don't
Coming back
blame them for
home.
being confident. Like, I mean, I got to be honest with you. I think that team still could have, if like their superstars showed up, I think they could have very well forced 7. But they just couldn't. So we're gonna talk about the game. I know you guys have probably seen it, and we're so far behind because it happened like last week. We're talking about it just now, but the no goal call. Was it a goal? Carter's
No.
shaking his head.
It was a goal. It was a goal.
Jack
No.
thinks it's a goal. Carter, explain your reasoning why you think it wasn't a goal.
Okay, so there's a couple things that you got to look at there. So the one thing is after he makes the play, he pushes the goalie's pad, and as soon as there's contact with the pad, the puck that's moving is dead. So even after that, it doesn't matter. There was no clear, concise angle that the puck fully crossed the goal line, which is another thing. And then as you see, before the puck crosses, you see the ref blow his whistle, the linesman starts skating, and you can't hear anything because obviously it's in Toronto, so the fans are going nuts because they think it's a goal. But the ref blows the whistle, the linesman skate in, which is an indication that the play is over, so it's no goal.
Huh.
So those are my reasonings. That's what I've seen. That's what I saw. But yeah, my biggest thing was as soon as you push the pad in, the goal does not count. The forward progress is stopped, and that's it.
I actually never even looked at that. That's good insight. Jack, do you still think it's a goal after that?
That was a pretty good explanation, Carter, honestly. I don't really know anymore, but
What was your reason before? I should have asked you first, but
I mean, my initial thought was puck is in the net, fully crossed the goal line. I didn't hear a whistle. Was there a whistle? Because I didn't watch this. Like, I saw this one time.
I've seen numerous clips on it, but you can't actually hear the whistle because of the angle that they show it at.
Okay.
The crowd's going nuts, so you're not able to like hear the whistle because obviously
yeah.
the crowd all thinks it's a goal. If it's a close play, it's loud in there, and then so that was what I saw, and
I don't know. The play was still going on. And I saw the puck completely cross the goal line. So I'm still gonna stick with goal. But I mean, obviously,
here's the thing. Everyone's saying as you saw as soon as Bobrovsky lifted his pad up, and then you're like, oh, it's clearly across the goal line. No, it's under his pad. When you lift your pad backwards, the puck is gonna follow where you're pulling, and then it stopped on his skate and he kicked it out. It wasn't in the net. It was under his pad. It was never in.
Yeah.
I don't think
I
it
don't
matters. I actually don't think it matters at all with the goal being called off. You want to know why I don't think it matters? Because they tied it anyways afterwards.
Yeah.
So
but at the same time, if that goal counts, it's a 3-2 hockey game as well.
No, it's no, pal.
That changes everything.
I know the history would change the future, but if everything stayed the same, if that goal counted, it's a 3-2 win for Florida.
Or you mean Toronto?
Yeah, Toronto. Sorry.
I mean, I guess, but after that, it changes the entire game. You don't know if Nylander scores that third goal,
I know that, but I'm saying if
Matthews
history
was
after that
good.
stays the same, then it's a 3-2 hockey game. So like I understand the point, but everything would change. Like Florida could go on an all-out attack and still win that hockey game.
Yeah, but it doesn't change the fact either. And the Leafs fans always go and blame the refs. It's the first-hand thing they do. They always go and blame the refs.
Yeah.
Everybody's nodding their head. They agree with me. It's not that. It is not that this time around. It's actually never been that this time around because their guys didn't show up. A story of Leafs fans' lives. Story of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Their guys don't show up. And look, they played a hell of a first round. But when you look at Florida, they got effed in 5 games. Like, you got to think to yourself, and people looked back at that Tampa series and said, well, Tampa was tired. They played a full extra half a season of hockey in the playoffs in the past couple of years. They had so many players out. Is that why Toronto won in 6? Because Tampa Bay wasn't 100%. If Tampa was 100%, do they beat Toronto? We don't know, but they very well could have. And it brought that out too. But all of the guys that played so well in that first round basically just stayed in the first round. Between Marner, until Nylander scored eventually, between Marner, Matthews, and Tavares, and Nylander, they had like 1 goal. 1 goal. And that's unacceptable to me. And I get why it's causing a lot of questions for the Leafs this year. Now, I have plenty of questions I want to ask y'all. The first one I'm going to go with front office. Do they fire Kyle Dubas? Or do they not re-sign Kyle Dubas? They won't fire him because he's already expiring.
Yeah. He should remain the general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Wait, what are you saying? They're going to let him walk?
No, I said he should remain. He should remain the general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Look, look. Part of me agrees with you, Jack, but part of me just thinks like, what if they got him out of there? What if they brought in someone new to help it out? But they just keep bringing in new people.
I think he's done a good job.
Carter, what do you got?
They gotta keep him, man. Like as much as like you want to, like everybody wants to blame the general manager when the team's not going good. No, at this point you got to look at coaching. Look, I'm pretty sure Bartner brought this up on one of his TikToks where he talked about John Tavares being the captain and how Tavares should be stripped. Like you saw what happened to the Islanders once John Tavares got moved. They went to 2 straight conference finals or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, which is unreal. Like that's what happened. So is John Tavares a locker room cancer? We got to look at that. I think honestly, you got to strip John Tavares of his captaincy because obviously something in the locker room's not working out. You got to get a new voice behind the bench. I think that Dubas has done a fantastic job as general manager, bringing in these guys and getting guys on like solid deals too. Well, obviously not for like their top guys because they got to get paid, but like everyone else, you're looking at them and like they got Mark Giordano on like a league minimum deal. Like that's awesome to get a pretty solid defenseman on league minimum. They got so many guys, and then he brought in Ryan O'Reilly this year. He's brought in a bunch of pieces to help this team, and they just couldn't get it done. So I think at this point, you got to look at coaching and you got to look at John Tavares.
Yeah, I was about to ask that question. Do you think Sheldon Keefe would get fired? I think that it's possible, but honestly, I gotta say this. I think if Dubas stays at the GM, I think Keefe stays. I just think they have too good. Unless if Shanahan, the president, forces Dubas' hand to just fire Keefe, I think Keefe stays, and I don't think they do anything with Tavares either, unless they do strip his captaincy. It's possible, yeah, but I mean, honestly, and I'm going to say this: I think Dubas is still one of the best GMs in the league. As a non-Leafs fan, I know Leafs fans may meat ride him or absolutely hate him, and people definitely don't like him. But I gotta say that like you put him on any other team, he general manages any other team, which he has come out and said that he won't. He'll probably take a break for this upcoming season if he doesn't get re-signed. But I think if you put him on any other team, I think they go far in the playoffs or even win a championship. I just think he's that good of a GM. Like I feel like he makes the right moves. I just feel like it's because of Toronto that like they just don't like I don't know. Like it's all so confusing to me. There's been a lot of rumors regarding Marner, Matthews, Nylander, all of them. You talked about Tavares, Carter, so I'll move on from him. Which of those three gets traded? If any of those three get traded, do they trade Nylander? Do they trade Matthews? Do they not re-sign Marner? Like, what happens? Are any of those guys leaving?
The fans definitely want it to be Nylander because Mitch Marner is a top player in this league, and he proved it this season. Austin Matthews, a 40-goal scorer, a one-time 60-goal scorer. You can't really move him unless you move him to Arizona, but we don't know if they're going to be Arizona anymore. Sorry, Nord. But but anyways, I think the fans want it to be Nylander, but I think that Mitch Marner might be the best move because his value is at an all-time high. And if you're trying to get the best return possible for the Toronto Maple Leafs, Mitch Marner is the guy that they should move.
Mitch Marner is the guy that they should move. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. And look, I got to be honest with you, and people hate on Marner. People flame Marner so much. If Marner goes to the market, yeah, he's going to get a lot of interest. I would want Marner on my team.
I think that Mitch Marner is an underrated player in this league.
He's good.
I think that he is overhated. He's overhated. He plays really solid defensively. He makes the right plays. I think he's a very smart hockey player. Honestly, he's just really overhated. Is
he good in the playoffs? Not really.
He was this year.
He was okay this year.
First round, he was good. Not playoffs. First round.
But I don't know. I think like, and look, it sucks too because of all of those three in that second round, and you look at previous years too, like you go back to like 2022, you go back to 2021, you go back to like even back to like 2019, Nylander was the best of like those four guys. Always gave the effort, always had at least some shots, even had goals in a few of those rounds and a few of those games that mattered. And he's probably the most likely to get traded. And that kind of sucks. And he's the easiest one to deal. But I think you keep him. I think you keep Nylander and you deal Marner. I
agree.
Now,
I agree.
I don't know if they would want to like deal everybody or not deal everybody, keep everyone. Because we already know there's some people leaving. Achari's probably gone. Justin Hall's gone. They said they were going to try and keep Luke Shen, Ryan O'Reilly, those guys. But Michael Bunting's probably gone as well.
O'Reilly might be hitting the market.
O'Reilly probably will, but they said they're going to try and keep O'Reilly. And I would keep O'Reilly. I think O'Reilly was a huge part of why they made it to the second round.
Yeah.
Not why they lost, but I think he's a huge part of why they made it to the second round.
Mm-hmm.
Just, yeah, I don't know. And then as well as that too, this thought also popped into my mind. If you're two players in a crucial game like Game 3 was, where Sam Lafferty, Jack's guess a player, and Eric Gustafsson, like that's not going to work. If those are your top two leading scorers. No. So I'll end it off with this question. Yeah, they got past the first round, but does that mean that is getting past the first round a good thing, or does it start a whole new problem in Toronto?
I think it was a good thing at the time, yeah, just because people thought the second round would be easy matchup with Florida, but obviously it wasn't. But I don't know. I do think getting past the first round is a win. And I don't think they should trade anyone on this team. Any other top three guys, as we talked about. I think they should keep all of them one more year, and maybe go out and get a couple more guys, and maybe try to get someone for Tavares. I think if they're gonna trade someone solid on this team, I think it's Tavares.
The only issue with as much as I'd want them to trade Tavares, his cap hit is just way too high for them to deal, which does suck because I think Tavares is the piece that they need to get out, but there's not going to be much of a market for him with his $11 million in salary.
When does he expire? He doesn't expire for a while.
I'll check right now.
He signed in 2018. Was that like what, an 8-year deal? So
I thought it was a 7. I think it was 7 by 11.
That's 25, 26.
Hang on, I'm checking cap friendly. Give me a second.
All right, but I was gonna say this. Yes, it definitely was really good at the time. And actually, if they played well against Florida, I think Leafs fans would have been satisfied. Like even if they lose in 6 or maybe or if they take it to 7, I think that this core pretty much stays the same. Mainly because especially if Matthews and Marner showed up in that second round and they played well, but they still lost to Florida. I think that's something to build off of. And I actually thought that after winning against Tampa, I actually thought to myself, well, if they play well or if they lose in the second round, I actually thought that it would create some progress for Toronto and for Toronto fans to be happy and to start the building blocks towards getting closer to a Stanley Cup. But now, after that abysmal second round, I'm like, I don't know. So yeah. Carter, did you figure that out?
Yeah, so John Tavares is signed. His last season before he's a UFA is the 2024-25 season. So they got 2 more years of John Tavares. So not a whole heck of a lot of time, but yeah.
Still a 2-year window, and Matthews and Nylander, I believe, do expire next season. So that is something you got to keep in mind there too. We're not even going to go into the Arizona or all those memes because no, it's not happening.
Nord's going to get really upset if we do.
No. Do we got anything more in regards to Toronto and Florida? I know we went more in depth with Toronto, but we'll talk about Florida once we get into the third round. We're more talking about the teams that have lost. But do we got anything?
I'm very glad they're out because Sportsnet and TSN no longer talk about them.
That's fair enough.
Also, sorry, one last thing. I would like to say, I'd like to talk, or I don't have to, but I'm just going to quickly say, the bias of Toronto in Canadian sports media is atrocious. That is one thing I'm going to say. When that goal got called back, every single panelist, every single announcer said it was a goal except for one. So, yeah. All right, that's all I have to say. We can move on now.
We'll move on to the Western Conference now. The Vegas Golden Knights defeated the Edmonton Oilers 4-2 in 6 games, and I'm absolutely heartbroken because that was my cup prediction, and they're out.
Welcome to the club.
And they're out. So, guys, I lasted longer than both of you, but they're out. Edmonton's out. And honestly, this hurts. This actually kind of sucks. I was actually kind of bent out of shape about this because I really thought that I don't know why I'm holding this, but I really thought that Edmonton was actually going to go far. They were playing well up until that series against Vegas. But Vegas, I got to give credit to them. They're a hell of a deep team. They're deep all down the roster, all 4 lines. They can roll all 4 lines. Edmonton can't. Vegas, even though they brought in a third-string goalie, they had a reliable goaltending, reliable defense. Edmonton didn't. It sucks because, too, Leon Draisaitl had quite a playoffs. McDavid had a solid playoffs, but it sucks. So you guys got any thoughts on Edmonton and their loss? What do they need to do? Why did they lose?
I didn't watch much of this series, but all I can say is I thought Edmonton was going to go in there and destroy Vegas, honestly. And that didn't happen. Vegas, they've been playing some pretty good hockey. And who do they have now? They have the
Dallas Stars.
Yeah, Stars. That's right. Oof, man, that's going to be a good series. But yeah, Vegas, I wasn't expecting them to reach the Western Conference Final at all, to be honest with you. This is pretty shocking to me. And especially playing Edmonton, I thought Edmonton was – I was picking them in 4 or 5 against Vegas. So, yeah, I'm honestly shocked.
Yeah. I think it's goaltending. Carter, what do you think?
I think it just came down to goaltending. Honestly, I don't know what it was, but Stuart Skinner did not look very solid in that series. Yeah, to be quite honest with you, not a fan of Stuart Skinner in that one. I think after Game 5, when he got lit up for 3 in a minute, or I don't even know how long it was, but when he got lit up for 3 and they put Jack Campbell in, he let in none for the rest of the game. I think that should have been a sign hey, Skinner's a little shaken up. Let's throw in Campbell. He was feeling it last game. Let's roll with Campbell. I think they should have started Campbell Game 6. But it's the past now. Can't really do much about it. But I think Jack Campbell should have been the move for Game 6, and maybe we could have a Edmonton in the conference final again.
Yeah, I kind of do agree with that. But yeah, it does suck. I do think though, and I'm going to say this right here, right now. Teams, they have to go through losing before they go through winning, and Edmonton's going to be one of those teams. That is why for next year, Edmonton is winning the Stanley Cup in 2024. You can clip it right now. You can post it on NordCast. Call me an idiot. You can post it all over social media. Edmonton's winning the Cup in 2024.
It's actually going to be the Utah Coyotes.
Oh, all right. They're not going to be in Utah then.
Salt Lake City.
Yeah, it'd be Salt Lake. First off, it'd be Salt Lake City, and second, they're going to be in Mullet next year, so they're not leaving Arizona just yet.
Okay, wait, hold on. Okay, as a Canadian, is Salt Lake City in Utah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and the Utah Jazz play in Salt Lake City?
Yeah, and they're called Utah Jazz.
Exactly. So couldn't it also be the Utah Coyotes and not the Salt Lake City Coyotes?
Salt Lake City rolls better.
Salt Lake City does roll better, but
Maybe
I think
they changed the name.
The Utah Jazz Hockey Club.
No.
Washington football team.
I can't. Washington football team. Utah, Salt Lake City Hockey Club. No, let's not do that.
Hey, that rolls off the tongue.
Utah Commanders. Yeah. Edmonton wins the Cup in 2024. We got any more on that series? Anything regarding Edmonton?
Yeah, nothing.
Nothing. All right, final round of the second round, Seattle versus Dallas. That came down to Game 7, a nail-biter. Dallas won in that series in 7 games. I got to give credit to Seattle, and they're the only team out of the losing teams that I'm like, hey, I'm actually excited for their future, apart from the Devils. And forget what I just said. They're one of the teams that I'm really excited about for their future. Because this year they played well. First season they're like bottom of the division, close to the bottom of the league. And then this year they worked towards the top of the league for a lot there. Even though they were like a first wild card team, they made it to the second round and they fought hard until the end. I will give credit where it's due. They fought really hard, and they played well against Colorado. And I actually thought there for a while they were going to beat Dallas. I really, really did think they were going to beat Dallas. And I low-key did think in that Game 7 they were going to beat the Stars. But, of course, that outcome didn't happen. But I got to give credit to Seattle, man. They were fun to watch. They were just great. So, thoughts on Seattle? Anything?
Bright future.
Great season.
Bright future. Great season.
I wish that they would have played a little bit harder in that Game 7. And not score their first goal with 17 seconds left. But
yeah,
at the end of the day, the Stars just played unreal. So
yeah, I gotta give credit to Dallas. Hell of a series. They played really well, and honestly, I do think Dallas could go all the way very well. And with that, we'll move on into the third round or the conference finals. For our predictions, there, Carolina versus Florida. I believe currently Game 1 is going on at the time recording of this podcast.
Overtime, it's currently 2-2.
It's going into overtime 2-2. So we'll do what we do in every scenario. If the Hurricanes win Game 1, who takes this series?
Oof.
And in how many games? Because I think these two teams are so neck and neck.
I think this series is going to 7 no matter what.
I kind of feel it. I kind of feel
Florida
it.
and
I
7.
can't pick a winner right now.
Florida and 7. I'm believing in this Cinderella story.
Yeah.
The 17th team in beats the best regular season team ever. They are going. I have faith in them going on a cup run here.
You look at previous President's Trophy winners too. Washington, they won the President's Trophy in 2017, lost in the second round. Next year they win the cup. Colorado won the President's Trophy in 2021. Bubble divisions. I don't really care what you think. They went to the Cup the year afterwards. Florida won the President's Trophy last year. They lost in the second round. Could very well go all the way this year. So it's happened before where the President's Trophy team the year after winning it goes and wins a cup. Could happen. And Florida, I think, is like they're the staple point. They're the prime example of why anything can happen in the playoffs. Honestly. What do we got, Carter?
So I want to ask you guys a question. Who's scoring the game winner? So give me your prediction for if Florida wins and if Carolina wins. Who's scoring the game winner tonight?
Let me look at who scored so far.
I can tell you.
Carolina.
I'm gonna
Carolina wins. Jordan Martinook.
I'm gonna go Martinook as well. And then for the other guy, I'm gonna go Nick Cousins. I think Cousins gets another one.
Okay. Jack, who's your Florida pick?
I'm not even gonna pick one for Florida. Carolina's winning this game.
All right.
Oh,
Well, mine for Florida.
over.
Mine for Florida. Give me Brendan Montour. For Carolina, give me you know what? Give me Teravainen in his return.
I was gonna say him.
Oh yeah, that's a good pick.
Montour or Teravainen. That's my pick.
But yeah, Jack, you have Florida or Carter. You have Florida in 7. Jack, what's your series? Who do you have?
I have this series going to 7, and whoever wins tonight is gonna win in 7.
Oh really?
You have Carolina winning, so yeah.
Carolina in 7.
Oh yeah, right. So Carolina in 7. There you go.
Okay. With that being said, we'll move on to the other conference. You have Dallas versus Vegas. As Jack said a few minutes ago, this will be a very fun series. But what do you guys have? Who do you guys think is going to win the series and how many games? I'm going
Dallas in 6.
You have Dallas in 6. I'm going Dallas in 7. Carter?
Dallas is good, man.
Dude, I've bet against Vegas every time, and I'm 0-2.
Yeah, you're right. I bet for Vegas in round 1. So
Give me oh my god. As much as I don't want it, I don't want them to make a cup final. I'm gonna take Vegas in 7.
I want Dallas to win so bad.
I really want Dallas to win, but right now, if I speak Vegas into existence, maybe it goes the other way.
That's true. That's why I'm saying Florida in 7, so Carolina wins in 7.
Take that hat off. Go Panthers.
Anyways, but yeah, I do think that this will be a very close and very fun game.
Yes! Panthers won!
No way.
My thing says 3-2 overtime. I don't know who scored.
Ryan
Lomberg. Let's go!
Ryan Lomberg.
Let's go!
Alright, so Jack, do you want to change your prediction now?
No!
I mean, I can't really do that now.
Shut up, Jack.
Yeah, I already locked in my pick.
Roll Panthers, baby.
That's gonna go on the TikTok if you're just cheering live while we're recording. But yeah, anyways, Dallas, Vegas. I have Dallas in 7. Jack has Dallas in 7. Carter has Vegas in 7.
I had Dallas in 6.
Or Dallas in 6.
Yeah.
One more question for y'all. Actually, I have a few more questions. If you were to pick a Conn Smythe winner from each team, who would it be?
Ooh.
I'll start off with Carter. Carter can give his 4.
Okay, let's just go by team and everyone say what it is.
Sorry.
All right.
Carolina.
Who's been playing well in Carolina?
Give me Martinook.
I might say Martinook as well.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, all sweep for Martinook, Conn Smythe. That's crazy. Or like Aho, maybe. Aho could win it.
One of those two.
Florida, I think there's a lot of options, but I'm gonna go with Kachuk. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd go with Kachuk. Or honestly, a sleeper pick would be Montour. He's actually been really solid.
Or Bobrovsky. How about Bobrovsky?
Yeah, Bobrovsky would actually be a solid one too.
Yeah, I think that could be a good one. Vegas. Marchessault. He's been
or Eichel.
Or Eichel. Eichel's one.
Yeah, I'll go Eichel.
And then last but not least, Dallas. Joe Pavelski. No doubt.
Heinz.
Pavelski or Hintz?
Heinz.
It's Heinz or Pavelski.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those two. But yeah, of these final 4, I think I asked this in the second round. I forget who you guys said. But of these final 4, who wins the Stanley Cup? I think any of these 4 could win it. I got to be genuinely honest with you. But I'm feeling. Who do I want to win? I'm saying Dallas. Who am I feeling is going to win? Florida.
Roll Panthers, baby.
I'm feeling Dallas.
Carter's got on the Panthers wagon. Jack wants Dallas. You got Max Domi. Domi's actually been playing well in these playoffs.
Yeah, I love Domi.
Nobody's really talked about it.
Domi for Conn Smythe?
No, Pavelski's been better, and Heinz. But yeah, we got anything else regarding the playoffs? Anything in that nature?
Ooh.
One more thing, Carter.
I do have one thing. This has nothing to do with the NHL playoffs. I don't know if do you guys follow the CHL, the Canadian Hockey League at all?
Oh
do
yeah,
not.
I have seen about that a little bit.
So every single playoff series is 3-1 right now.
Oh yeah.
And then it goes on to the Memorial Cup. And my boys, the Winnipeg Ice, they're currently down 3-1. And I'm like kind of cheesed about it.
Oh, Carter's finna cry next
But
episode.
Seattle is so stacked, though.
Oh yeah, they're definitely.
I'm pretty sure between the two teams, like Winnipeg and Seattle, I think there's 18 or 20 NHL prospects.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it's ridiculous because Seattle got so many players like at the deadline and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I believe that. Wait, no goal.
What?
No goal. Goalie interference. I just looked at my.
No!
Oh, yeah.
The game goes on.
Fudge!
Oh,
Uh-huh.
that would have been 6 straight road wins for Florida.
Oh my gosh!
That's
Now I'm
real.
crying.
6 straight wins on the road. Unbelievable.
Montour's still alive though.
That's true.
That take is still alive. You're right. With that being said, we'll move into headlines. So I'm going to start off with something that Carter might not be too happy about me saying, but the Buffalo Sabres have come out as the first team to actually be interested in Connor Hellebuck. Now,
Good.
the Jets have been rumored to say, it's like the first big team that I've seen. The Jets have been rumored to say that they want a big care package in return, full of a lot of young players. So I'm going to go to Carter first. We've talked about it before. We're going to bring it up probably a few times in these podcasts before he actually gets traded. So Carter, just give your thoughts on all of it.
Yeah, honestly, if Buffalo is the team that is interested in him, honestly, we're really going to need something big. And I'm talking like a nice goalie, too. Could we be seeing Devin Levi on the move? Probably not. But if we were to trade Hellebuck, Devin Levi is the goalie I want in return. There's nothing else that I would want besides Devin Levi and a couple other prospects or picks or something. But if we're trading with Buffalo, Devin Levi has to be involved in that deal. Otherwise, I see it as a waste of a trade for the Winnipeg Jets.
Huh. Jack, you have any thoughts on that? Big goalie Hellebuck?
Yeah, I mean, Hellebuck, I think it's either going to be the Sabres or the Devils. And I think the Devils fit this better than the Sabres do just because where the Devils are in kind of a win-now mode. And I think the Sabres, next year, borderline playoff team. But, the Devils next year, they're in the playoffs. And if they get Hellebuck, they're one of the top teams automatically.
Yeah, I think the Devils is the most realistic team.
Yeah, for sure.
That he goes to, and yeah.
All right, Penguins. The Pittsburgh Penguins have interviewed about 10 to 12 GM candidates. Of those being Jason Botterill, John Chayka, Peter Chiarelli. There's been multiple others as well that they've interviewed. They're still looking for a brand new one, so we'll see. I know y'all probably have no idea, but the ideal one that I would probably want if I'm Pittsburgh, probably John Chayka. I gotta be honest. Even though he wanted to keep the team competitive when they really shouldn't have been, I think he would have a much better deck of cards with Pittsburgh than he did Arizona for sure. The Anaheim Ducks, and this blew my mind. They have interviewed 300. It might have been 200, but I think it was 300 coaches.
Jeez.
For their head coaching vacancy. 300.
Holy crap.
That's insane. That's unreal. Did they reach out to any of you guys? Did you guys get a coaching offer?
I'll have to check my email.
Hold on. I'm getting a call.
Oh, who was the one that was calling you last time?
Dubas.
Oh, Dubas was calling. That's right. Dubas was calling you.
They said we need a new voice behind the bench.
That was a few episodes ago for y'all who don't know what we're talking about. But yeah, 300 coaches is insane.
That's ridiculous.
One of the ones that I've only seen is Andrew Brunette. That's the only one that's popped up, and I think that's the most realistic one. He did really well with Florida. I think he could do well with a team like Anaheim. But yeah, we'll see. Then the last thing I have here for news, there hasn't been too much news outside of the playoffs, but Robin Lehner. His status for the 2023-24 season is unknown. He actually didn't play last year at all. He was out for the entire year. But as well as that, too, he also did file for bankruptcy. Very early on, when we were in this podcast, we talked about that and how he filed for bankruptcy for his like exotic snake farm or whatever. Very strange. It was a while ago. But yeah, his status for next season is unknown. That's all I have for headlines. Trending players now. I don't have many, but I do have one in regards to like a coach. Pete DeBoer, the head coach of the Dallas Stars, is actually and this is crazy to think. He's actually 7-0 in Game 7s. 7-0. Can you guys believe that? That's actually unbelievable.
It's a pretty solid record. He's like a modern day Justin Williams, like the coach Justin Williams.
Absolutely insane. There's one more thing I did want to bring up in regards to a trending player. There hasn't been many like that have like really popped out to me, but I want to talk about this one guy who, and this guy popped up on Puck Empire. This guy, his name is Dave Hamel. He played in the LNAH, the lowest professional hockey league in Quebec. He's been playing in there since 2013. Since then, he has played 194 games in those 10 years. Not a single point.
Oh, yeah, I saw this.
1 point. He doesn't have 1,100 penalty minutes, though. But to go one step further, there's not a single documented point for when he played in any level of hockey.
There's no way.
Can you believe that? He is 6'4", 285 pounds.
Oh, you know what? Makes sense.
That's still unreal, though.
Yeah, it is.
That blows my mind to even think about that. But yeah, that's all I have for trending players, and it's time. It's time. Week 3. We're 0-2, Carter. We gotta cook up something big here. It's Jack.
I'm dialed.
I was thinking my player in school today, and I got it locked in. So
now, for those who don't know what Jack's Guess a Player is, we've been doing this for the past 2 weeks. It's basically where me and Carter have to work together to guess a player that Jack is thinking of. We have 2 questions collectively, along with a final guess each, to guess Jack's favorite player. I'm gonna say this though: if we lose today, there's a very good chance I got to take it up with the board of directors. We are going to request that we add in a 3rd question for each of us, so we get 6 questions altogether. We'll see if the board approves it. We'll see if they disapprove of it. But honestly, it could come down to this. If we win this, we'll keep going in that direction. But anyways, I'm gonna let Carter go first. Carter, I know we talked a little bit earlier today about our questions. We did some consensus. We did some research. So I'll let Carter go first.
We've been prepped. I take this very seriously. I've been watching a lot of film. Been doing a lot of hurdle. Trying to get some answers here. So, let's just jump straight into it. So, Jack, does your player play on a Canadian team?
Nope.
All right.
It's not who I thought it was.
I'm feeling it.
You got a player in mind?
Yeah, I'll talk with you about this later.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll talk afterwards. We'll talk after your player, after we find out your player. I'm feeling it today. Jack, is your player in the Metropolitan Division?
Nope.
Shit. That's not
Yeah,
gonna work.
no, we're
We already screwed ourselves. Nord fumble in the second
all
question.
right. No, that was all on me. I shouldn't have said Canadian team, but all right, Jack. Hold on. Oh my God, no, we're fucked. Jack, is your player in the Central Division?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
okay. We're so fucked.
All right, Jack. Trying to think here. Shit. I'm trying to I'm thinking because I didn't think it would go this way. We got to prepare for this, Carter. We weren't prepared for this. Let me look at my standings here.
Might have to bring in the board of directors for today and get 2 bonus questions.
Yeah, we might have to bring in the board of directors.
Jack, if I compliment you, can I get another question?
Yeah, of course.
What?
Jack, I think your suit for prom looked very dashing, and I liked how
Thank you.
you and your girlfriend were matching.
Thank you. All right,
Yeah,
you get another
bonus-
question, Carter. Go ahead.
Oh, thank God.
All right. We used our one compliment guess. Let me think here. Jack, is your player on a playoff team or on a playoff
Yes.
team within the playoffs? Yes. Okay. So
Yes.
Okay, all right, bonus question. This is huge. This is huge. This is huge.
Do I have to
Okay.
answer this?
Yeah,
Okay.
you have to answer it. It's a bonus question. You said if I complimented you, I could get a bonus
okay.
question.
This is the one. Okay.
This is the bonus question. Okay. So it's a playoff team, and it wasn't a Canadian team, so that leaves us with Colorado, Minnesota, and Dallas.
Those are the only Central teams that were in it. There was no Central. Oh wait, you're right. The Jets. My fault.
But they're not. But they were Canadian. Okay. Let's go. Did your player or Jesus Christ? I can't even get the words out. Does your player play for a team that wears green?
Yes.
Okay. I think I have an idea on who it could be, but Nord, you got to go first here.
I go first.
Yeah.
Can you go first? Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'll go first. Jack.
Yeah.
You know, the last one we had, you said Trevor Moore was your favorite player.
He's one.
First one, you did a former Blackhawk. I think you did it again. Give me Max Domi.
I knew you were gonna guess that, but nope.
I think it's Minnesota.
Jack, how are we feeling about Dallas? Is your guy like chilling on Dallas? Is he?
I can't tell you that.
Oh my God. Carter, you gotta help me out here.
I think it's a Minnesota guy.
I don't know the way Jack's
No, looking at that smile, I don't trust it.
The way Jack's
my-
looking at me.
I don't know, boys.
Let me go here. Let me look at that team. I literally have like this stuff pulled up.
There's no way this isn't. I swear, if this isn't me, I'm not guessing. I swear, if it's Krill, I'm gonna actually slap you, Jack. He had a little smile there. It could be Krill. Any former Blackhawks on that team, North?
I have a guess.
Oh fuck! Come on.
Is your player Matthew Boldy?
Nope.
Oh!
Matt Zuccarello.
No!
Oh, it's Zook!
I was looking at him.
Yep. When you said Matt from Matthew Boldy, I was like, oh, he got it.
Damn.
We couldn't do it.
We're 0 for 3.
All right. We're gonna have to take that up with the board. To get 2 extra questions.
Fuck.
I think
I'm
you
actually
guys
upset now.
get to it.
This has ruined my entire night.
Yeah, I'm actually upset now too.
I'm gonna binge eat half a
I
cake.
was rolling in this podcast. I was so happy, and now I'm just heartbroken that we're 0.
Thank God we end on this, Nord.
We don't end on this. We got to do the other half.
Oh God. Let's just not do it.
You just want to not do it? Let's just end the episode.
I'm bummed out. I'm depressed. I'm gonna go muck half a cake and then call it a night.
All right, we'll end with this then.
No, I'm kidding. We can finish the pod.
I want to go to bed. But all right. And Jack, did somebody significant say a player to you today? Any player?
Yeah, I was hearing a lot of Connor McDavid today.
Oh, really? That's so
Yeah.
strange.
I know. I was wondering what that was all about.
That's so weird. Like,
I'm walking in the halls and all I hear is Connor McDavid, Connor McDavid. What are your thoughts on Connor McDavid?
I guess
Yeah.
someone that you really know and really admire is a big McDavid.
big McDavid fan.
Yeah, I guess so.
Hmm.
I didn't know
crazy.
this person knew who that was, but apparently they
Yeah,
do.
I honestly, like, I have no idea, like, who even like thought of McDavid. Like, that's crazy.
Jack, I would have to watch out if I'm you.
Oh, yeah?
Jack, I'm gonna start name dropping random players.
This person's gonna be like Artemi Panarin next week, or someone like that.
All of a sudden, we're just gonna be hearing like Shane Gostisbehere, Ryan
If you guys
O'Reilly.
both have 3 questions next week, I might have to make it a little harder.
No, Matt Zuccarello was hard enough.
I thought Matt Zuccarello was pretty good, but
We keep
Honestly, Matt Zuccarello is like the perfect pick there.
yeah.
Here, I will say this: the last 2 have been really close. The last 2 we've been really close.
Yeah.
So
I mean, honestly, we've been close on all of them. I think we do really just need like that one more question.
I think so too.
Because then we can start asking more creative ones, like not ones that's just like, oh, we've narrowed down the team, now we get the player, but now we can start asking like, is your player Canadian? Are they American? Are they from Europe? And stuff like that. So we can start asking actual different questions rather than the same stuff and getting to the same point.
Yeah. All right. Florida, Carolina still in overtime. We're going to move into our 2023 reviews. We're going to do from 22 in the standings, which I believe is the Vancouver Canucks, to number 18. So we'll start off with Vancouver. Canucks, 38, 37, and 7 in the regular season for 83 points. Of course, this year they fired Bruce Boudreau, and then they hired Rick Tocchet as their brand new head coach. What are your guys' thoughts on Vancouver? Like, what situation are they in? Are they going to make the playoffs next year? Are they going to be in cap hell? Are they mid? Like, you're all shaking your heads. What are our thoughts on Vancouver?
I have no read on Vancouver at all.
No read?
Me neither.
I don't know what they're going to be next year.
Tell, like, what they want to do.
They're going all over the chart right now. Like 1 second I'm like, oh, okay, they're going to be really good, but there's this. Oh, but they could still be really good, but what about him? Like, they're just moving up and down the stock chart right now, and I don't know if it's a buy or sell right now for Canucks stock owners.
I think we all had them. I think the majority of us had them making the playoffs, except maybe Carter. I know Jack did. But I think we all had them making the playoffs because they just looked so good the year before. But now I'm seeing this recurring pattern where they're ass at the beginning of the year, and then towards like March and April, they go like 10-2, so then that way they don't get a high draft pick. It's just really weird. But yeah, Vancouver's still in a rough spot. They're in cap hell. They make trades that don't make any sense. Like the Horvat deal was actually not bad for them, but then they go for Hronek. They trade for Hronek, who would be a solid defender if the Canucks were a playoff team, and they trade a first round pick. Like, what? It's just so stupid to me. Their leading scorer this year was Elias Pettersson, 80 games played, 39 goals, 63 assists for 103 points. The forward, Elias Pettersson, not the defenseman. So yeah, I don't know what direction Vancouver goes in from here. It's kind of a concerning direction if we're being completely honest. Anything more on Vancouver? Anything?
No.
Nothing. We're both shaking our heads. All right. Ottawa. We'll move into the Ottawa Senators now. They finished 21st in the NHL. They had a 39, 35, and 8 record for 86 points. The buying bids do continue, though. Ryan Reynolds has officially opted out of the buying for the team, which means Snoop Dogg and The Weeknd are still in it. Jack,
Hold on. Ryan Reynolds technically is not fully out. I'm pretty sure Snoop Dogg and The Weeknd are trying to bring in Ryan Reynolds to join that ownership group there.
Oh my God!
Could you imagine how stacked that would be?
That's the most like. That's the weirdest. That would be the weirdest ownership ever.
Yeah.
That'd be the weirdest combo ever. You get a rapper who's like high all the time. You get like a Canadian pop icon. And then you get an actor who acts all around the world who also owns a soccer team.
What? It's interesting. Hey, I'll give it to him. But yeah, what really killed Ottawa this year was their bad start to the season. If they didn't go like 4-9-1 in that November, and if they didn't start off the year in a hole, I think they really could have made the playoffs. But here's my question. Do they make the playoffs next year? Do you think they have the roster to? I think we all... Actually, Jack, this is your team. I just realized. Stanley Cup winner.
Oh, gosh. I don't want to talk about it.
Stanley Cup final appearance by Carter.
Yeah.
I had to go to the second round.
Brutal.
Shut up, Nordic.